All right, so you want to dive into crypto. Let's do it. We're talking Bitcoin and Ethereum today, going way past just the hype.
Yeah, we're going to break it down.
Our source is Coin Top Secret. They did an article looking at these two as investments for 2024, 2025. But we're going deeper than just that. You ready?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so Bitcoin, the OG. 2009, mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto. Still no clue who that is, right?
Right. Still a mystery.
It's like the birth of crypto as we know it.
It's fascinating. And Bitcoin, it's not even just about the Bitcoin itself. It's this whole idea of the blockchain, which, for people who don't know, just think of a giant digital ledger, right?
Yeah, break down blockchain for us a little more.
Every transaction ever in Bitcoin's history is recorded on this ledger,
Right.
spread across countless computers. So it's not like one bank or government controls it.
So that's the decentralized part we hear so much about.
Exactly. Decentralized, secure, transparent.
Okay, so I got to ask you about this whole 21 million limit thing. There can only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. That's it.
That's the magic number. And that's a huge part of why people call it digital gold. That limited supply is hard-coded in. Scarcity equals value.
So it's like they looked at gold and thought, let's make a digital version of that.
Kinda, yeah. Like, if everyone can have endless amounts of something, is it really valuable? But Bitcoin, it resists inflation just like gold, ideally. A store of value.
Okay, but then we get into the whole mining thing. And this is where it gets complicated, right? Because to make these transactions happen, we need all these powerful computers crunching numbers.
Yeah, that's the proof of work, the POW. It's what keeps Bitcoin secure.
But also uses a ton of energy.
That's the trade-off, for sure. And a big point of debate, they are trying to find ways to do it that are more sustainable because the industry knows it's an issue.
Good to know they're working on that. So that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Decentralized, secure, limited supply, but maybe not the most eco-friendly. Now let's talk about the one making waves a little more recently, Ethereum.
Right, the cool younger sibling.
Created by, what was it, Vitalik Buterin?
That's the one. In 2015, he had a much broader vision than just a currency.
Yeah, it's a platform, right? Not just a coin.
Exactly. And the real game changer, smart contracts. Imagine self-executing agreements, written in code, living on the blockchain.
Whoa, slow down a sec. Smart contracts. This is important, right?
Hugely important. They're what set Ethereum apart. You meet the conditions, the contract fulfills itself automatically. No middleman.
So we're not just talking about like sending money back and forth anymore. This is about building entire applications.
Exactly. Decentralized applications, dApps.
Okay, dApps. I've heard that term thrown around. What makes them so special?
Think about it. They run on a decentralized network. No single company controls them. And this is where things like DeFi, decentralized finance, come in.
Oh, right, DeFi. Yeah, that's huge now. And NFTs, too. Those are all tied to Ethereum.
Yep. All about those smart contracts. NFTs wouldn't really be possible without them.
Okay, so much to unpack there. But let's talk about the fuel that powers all of this on Ethereum. That's Ether, right? ETH.
Exactly. Ether is the native cryptocurrency of the Ethereum network. Like if you're interacting with dApps, you need ETH.
Makes sense. So how's it different from Bitcoin? Besides the whole smart contract thing, I mean.
Well, one big difference Coin Top Secret really highlighted is the supply. Remember how Bitcoin has that hard limit of 21 million?
Yeah, digital gold, scarcity, all that.
Right. ETH doesn't have that. It's not fixed. The amount of ETH can actually change based on the network's needs.
Oh, wow. So it's more flexible. But doesn't that also make it harder to, like, predict its value?
It does. That's a big part of the debate around ETH. Some people see it as a good thing, some don't.
Interesting. So, okay, let's get practical for a second. If I'm actually using either of these in the real world, what can I expect? Like, how fast are the transactions?
That's a key question. So Bitcoin, it's known for being secure, but it can be slow.
Slow how?
Well, it can only handle about 7 transactions every second.
7? Seriously?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like much in the digital age.
Exactly, especially when you compare it to, say, Visa, which can do thousands per second.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So if Bitcoin's the tortoise in this race, what's being done to speed it up?
Well, there are things like the Lightning Network being developed. It's basically a way to do faster transactions off-chain.
Off-chain?
Yeah, like not directly on the main Bitcoin blockchain. It's complicated, but it helps.
Okay, interesting. And what about Ethereum? How does it handle speed, and what are these gas fees I keep hearing about?
Right, gas fees. So Ethereum can be much faster than Bitcoin.
Good to know.
But those smart contracts we talked about, they require a lot of computing power to run, and that power isn't free.
So the gas fees are like paying for that computing power.
Exactly. You're paying for the right to make a transaction on the network. And as Ethereum gets more congested with more users and dApps, those fees can go up.
Makes sense. Supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
So it can get expensive.
It can, yeah, especially for smaller transactions. That's one of the issues Ethereum 2.0 is trying to address.
All right, Ethereum 2.0, the big upgrade. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's a huge undertaking. It's actually a multi-phase upgrade, but the goal is to make Ethereum faster, more scalable, and more energy efficient.
More energy efficient.
Okay, good.
Because we talked about Bitcoin's energy consumption.
Yeah, Ethereum's been working on that. One of the biggest changes is moving from proof of work to proof of stake.
Hold on, proof of stake. Now, we're really getting into the weeds here. What does that even mean?
It's a whole different way to validate transactions and secure the network. Instead of all those energy-intensive miners, you have validators.
Validators.
People who basically stake their ETH, a certain amount of it, to get the right to validate transactions. And that uses way less energy than the proof of work model.
Wow, that's really interesting. So it's more efficient and more eco-friendly.
That's the idea. It's still a work in progress, but it has a lot of potential.
Okay, so we've got Bitcoin trying to speed things up and Ethereum trying to be more sustainable and scalable with this 2.0 upgrade. But our source, Coin Top Secret, they mentioned some challenges ahead, right? Yeah, they did. They weren't all sunshine and rainbows, were they?
No, not exactly. I mean, the crypto world, it's competitive out there.
That's putting it mildly. New coins and blockchains popping up all the time.
Right, and some of them are gaining traction. Like CoinTop Secret specifically mentions Solana and Cardano. They're both kind of gunning for Ethereum's spot.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. Solana's the one that's supposed to be super fast, right?
Yeah, known for its speed and low fees. And Cardano, they're big on being more scalable and sustainable from the get-go. So it's not just about Bitcoin and Ethereum anymore.
Definitely not. It's like the whole industry is trying to figure out what the future of all this is going to look like.
Exactly. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape, which is a whole other can of worms.
Don't even get me started on the regulations. It's like every country has a different idea of what crypto is and how it should be treated.
It's a mess. And it's a big question mark hanging over both Bitcoin and Ethereum.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Bitcoin, the OG, holding steady. Ethereum, pushing boundaries with smart contracts and dApps, both facing competition and regulatory uncertainty. But for someone listening to this, trying to make sense of it all, what's the answer? Bitcoin or Ethereum?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I wish there was a simple answer, but it really comes down to your own individual goals and risk tolerance, like with any investment.
Okay, so walk me through it. Let's say I'm risk averse. I like things that are stable and have a good track record.
Then Bitcoin might be a good fit. It's the more established, more decentralized of the two. It's got that limited supply, which appeals to a lot of people.
Digital gold, right. We keep coming back to that.
Exactly. But if you're more comfortable with risk, if you're looking for something with maybe more potential for growth, even if it's more volatile, Ethereum might be intriguing, especially if you believe in the whole dApp ecosystem and the future of decentralized applications.
Right, because if that whole world takes off, Ethereum is kind of the foundation of a lot of it.
Exactly. So it's not really about one being better than the other. It's about what fits your investment strategy and what you think the future holds.
And honestly, you don't necessarily have to choose. You could always diversify, right?
Absolutely. CoinTop Secret even suggested that many crypto investors hold both Bitcoin and Ethereum in their portfolio to balance things out. A little bit of stability, a little bit of potential for growth.
That makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Well, this has been an amazing deep dive. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface, but at least now I have a better grasp of what sets Bitcoin and Ethereum apart.
Yeah, and how to think about their future, which, let's be honest, nobody knows for sure what that holds.
That's the exciting part. It's all still unfolding. So to everyone listening, keep learning, do your own research, and remember, this is a wild ride.
And it's just getting started.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of the crypto space.